Hi, I'm Christian.
And I'm Angela, and we are married.
And bored. Hey, everybody, welcome.
Welcome.
We're back for another episode of...
The Married and Bored podcast. Duh. We're glad you're here.
Yes, thanks for coming.
We're nearing the end of the school year for any of you that have kids involved in your life.
Yeah.
And it's apropos to talk about heat, because it's very hot here in Arizona.
Yeah, I wonder how many times we reference, like, weather...
Oh, so many.
In our podcast,
so
because we're just like, man, it is so hot. And then in the winter, we're like, it's not even cold.
Yeah, and everyone is probably like enjoying this part of the year where things are starting to, like the snow is gone and things are finally starting to just brighten up outside. And we're just crummy looking forward to this
Crummy?
or crabby, I should say. Looking forward to this hot summer.
Here's a quiz for you, Ange. On this Sunday afternoon that we're recording this episode.
Yes.
How hot is it outside right now?
It is 101 degrees.
It is mid-May.
That's my guess.
101?
Yeah.
You're pretty close. It's 98 according to my phone.
So close.
Inside, it's a balmy, probably 92. So it's pretty great.
Well, you know, I've heard that when you're older, all you talk about is the weather and what's wrong with your body.
That's true. My butt. Not my butt. That's the first thing I thought of. That's terrible. I was going to say my back, but I said butt.
I mean, it's all
connected,
yeah,
really. It's all about that spinal column.
Yep.
And if that goes out, you're done for.
Done for.
Anyways, board games.
Let's talk about it.
Do you think there's a board game about, like, anatomy, like bones and stuff?
It's called Operation.
Oh, well. They did that in the 60s, I guess, huh? Never mind.
Oh, man.
Well, it's been a while, Ange, so let's get caught up on what's been going on with us. You want to just kick this off?
Yeah. Well, we have been playing the campaign of My Island.
Yeah, you have a little obsession with this style of game that you discovered.
I do, and I know that we've played games similar to this, like it's tile placement and kind of maximizing, using the space in the best way possible to earn the most points. We've played other games like this, and I don't dislike them, but this one just has me focused.
Okay.
And like really, really want to keep playing episode after episode.
Yeah.
So I think we are on episode...
5. We're going into 5.
Chapter. We're on chapter 5 of 9.
We're going into 5, yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. Okay, so we're about halfway, and it's been a really fun experience. It's laying hex tiles. If you've played Ark Nova, it just reminds me of like, oh, I'm laying a 4 enclosure zoo, or I'm laying a petting zoo.
Yeah, totally.
Or it's like that, and you're laying it on an island, and as the game progresses...
My island.
Yes. Things will change on your board, because it's a legacy game, and I really, really enjoy it. And so, on Mother's Day, my one request was to... I mean, I would have loved to play My Island starting from the beginning with our kids, but... then we'd have to get another copy.
We had started it with a couple friend of ours. Mm-hmm. How do you say that? Couple's friend?
A couple who are friends of ours.
Yeah.
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 I got it.
I just didn't know what the correct vernacular was.
Well, I don't know.
Okay. Anyways, our buds. To even back up further, we got this game from Board Game Geek Secret Santa.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool. Mm-hmm. And then, like you said, we had never... we never completed a legacy game.
Yeah.
This one is a little more light, a little more low key.
Yes.
But anyways, it hit the right notes for you. So for Mother's Day, continue.
Yeah, so for Mother's Day, I was like, well, I don't really want to go out and buy another copy of My Island just to start it over with my family. So we got My City, which was the first iteration of this. And I think I still like My Island better at this point. However, it was the first one I played.
Yeah, it's usually
so
the case.
maybe I would have liked My City better if I started there. But yeah, it scratches the same itch. I like it. Instead of hexes, it's, squares. So everything is
polyominoes or whatever the correct word is. The fancy word.
fancy word.
And if you, I don't know if this really spoils anything, but like in my island, we peeked into that envelope number 5.
Yeah.
And we're at the point where the game is really going to change. There's
know.
like extra boards, there's extra like it's going to change big time for us.
I'm excited.
So we can only assume it's going to happen in My City as well.
Right.
I do like the mechanic in My City. And if you don't want to spoil it, skip ahead 3 minutes. But
yeah.
there's churches in My City, and if you can't play a church, like you literally have no room for it, like you have to quit the round.
Yeah.
Which is so brutal.
It's intense.
I love that rule.
So yeah, that was a kind of a fun curveball. We haven't gotten as far along in chapters in My City as My Island, but it's fun to have that as just our family, and then have My Island as the adult version.
The adults play this one.
The adults play this one. Yeah. So that's what's up with me.
Yeah, it's been fun. I've enjoyed that one too.
What's been up with you, Christian?
I haven't really been playing a lot of games.
Yeah, I know. But the first step is admitting
is
it.
Acceptance?
No, I think it's admitting that you have a problem.
Is that it? Is there like Board Game Anonymous for
Maybe.
for non-players?
You are a player. Continue your
I don't know. Is burnout the right word?
Maybe.
Like, I don't know. I feel like I went hard for a long time.
Yeah.
Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
And this has a lot to do with it too, is that I think I just got fed up with like always losing too.
Yeah.
So like even in this My Island, there's like points you earn. It's like, and I'm with My Island, I like it because it's very solo. It's a very solo experience until you compare points.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay, so I got all the pieces where I wanted them to be. Mm-hmm. Was it optimal? Well, based on what I did, yes. And it's like, oh, I got 32 points. What did you all get? Like 50, 30,
yeah. Yeah.
So there is some frustration when I feel like I do well and don't always, it doesn't always turn out that way.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, it's hard lately to put a bunch of time into something to lose. Does
Sure.
that make sense?
Yeah.
So I don't know what's up with that. I'm excited for games that are coming. Like we have some games coming over the summer from like pre-orders and stuff like that. Like I'm excited for those, but it's also like, well, I don't want to like, if you just keep losing at something, it's like, I don't even want to do this.
What about Dune: War on Arrakis?
Well, yeah, I mean, I've had that on my shelf.
Yeah.
Since I got it maybe like 2 months ago.
Yeah.
3 months.
Are you excited to play that one?
I'm intimidated to play that one.
Oh, I'm totally intimidated.
Because it looks intense.
Yeah.
But I read a lot of reviews, and everyone says it's good.
Okay.
And it's like if you mixed Rebellion and that War of the Ring.
Well, so that's what has me intimidated. I'm not really intimidated by depth of rules unless you're talking about John Company or anything like
Premiere.
anything Cole
Swirly.
No, Whirly. But it intimidates me in like the time effort.
Well, I think this is it's still probably like a 2 or 3 hour commitment.
Yeah.
But it is streamlined based on compared to those other games.
Okay.
But also for like us, it's like a very dudes on the map type game, which is not your favorite.
It's not my
I don't know
favorite.
how I feel about those anymore either. Mm-hmm. So I remember buying it as an impulse. I was like, oh, this looks really great. The reviews are awesome. Dune is hot.
That was a big impulse buy.
I mean, yeah.
It's a big game.
But
Just saying.
it's similar to other games that I have purchased. So
Yes.
it wasn't like out of the ordinary.
No, I guess not.
So, and there's a expansion for it coming. So if you're
Oh,
interested
my.
in that, go check it out.
There you go.
I'm not. I haven't even played the regular one.
Right. We have to play the regular one first.
We probably should do that.
So yeah,
but yeah,
the burnout.
I don't know.
Thing,
What do you think? Any tips or tricks, Ange, other than just play?
I feel like you got to be kind to yourself in the sense that maybe you need to just play games that are simple, just to get yourself back in the habit. Mm-hmm. So like, I mean, mine might be different than yours, but I've been like pulling out a few solo games just to like dice roll and writes.
Yeah.
Like just to kind of like, okay, I want to do something. I want to play a game, but I just don't have the capacity for, and even one I know, even just to set up Arc Nova solo, even though I know I love it. Mm-hmm. I just want something quick, set up, and then be done.
What was that boat one that we played a couple weeks ago?
Oh, Sail. That's a good one.
No. There's another one, like with the tiles, and you like made islands, and you had to go around. We played it with the kids.
Yeah, that was Beacon Patrol. That was pretty good.
I like that.
Yeah. So we've been playing. It's just, I think it's also just hard to want to learn more stuff after you've used your brain all day.
Yeah, like coming home after work, it's like, oh, there's Dune on the counter. I should read those rules or watch a video. Yeah. Or we can watch Fallout.
Right.
Like, I'd rather just like zone out.
Zone out, yeah.
Watch Fallout.
I get it.
After being not blitzed, that's the wrong word. Just brain burned from all day.
There you go.
Yeah. Well, anyways, like, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. Like, I had fun. The last time I played a lot of games was at our game retreat. Mm-hmm. And so that was a few months ago. And this happened last year, too. And maybe it's just that weekend. It did. Very, like, board game, like, overload. Mm-hmm. And I just need more time than normal to, like... Recover from that.
That's fair. If this has happened to you, or if it's currently happening to you, let us know. We would love to hear your tips and tricks as well.
Yeah, and I do have one question for the audience.
Yes.
This is totally not on subject, but...
Oh, okay.
So we're going on vacation this summer. We're going on a work retreat, and I am known as the board game guy at work. I don't know why. I have a podcast and like 100 board games at home.
Yeah,
like,
maybe that's why.
So everyone's like, what games are you bringing? What games are you bringing? So what games...
Am I bringing?
What am I bringing?
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to bring a whole box of, like, Heat, like we're talking about today.
Yeah.
It would be a great game to play. But like...
This is like a beach...
Yeah, we're going to, a resort.
And not that we need to play outside. Like, there will be times where we just go and play in a suite or whatever.
Yeah, so what's a good game that we could bring to maybe teach some new people... and some older, board game group crew could join in and still have a good time, but also doesn't take a ton of space.
Yep.
And, like travel, I guess the word is travels well.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to take Gloomhaven because I could fit all my luggage inside Gloomhaven box.
Yeah, that is also a suitcase.
So anyways, I'll mention it again at the end of the show, but as you're listening...
You be thinking about that.
Think about it.
Get those wheels turning.
Yep. Cool.
Speaking of wheels turning.
Oh my goodness.
But
Ka-chow.
We are going to be talking about Heat Pedal to the Metal, and we'll be right back.
Okay.
Vroom vroom.
Speaking of wheels turning, we are back.
Are you making fun of my segue?
It was actually very good, and I can't not say it again and wish that I thought of that.
You really...
Because when I do something like that, you'd be like, oh.
You really dropped the ball there.
I did. But yeah, Heat Pedal to the Metal, this game was like, it's still super popular, especially with the expansion that just dropped in the past month.
Yeah.
But it is still quite hard to find.
Yeah, the base game.
The base game.
Yep.
We went to our board game store this weekend, and they had maybe 2 base games and like 42 copies of the new expansion, which is great. But I will tell my story on how we found it. It was on our board game wish list for a long time.
Yep.
For a Secret Santa. Hard to find. And then I had a buddy of mine, Matthew. He was like, hey, I was at the board game store and I saw Heat. And I was like, what board game store?
Where?
And it was a little ways out of the way for us.
Yep.
And I think, I mean, if you guys are listening, I left work. Just ignore this part. I left work early and drove down to this board game store, and they had one copy, and I snagged it. So
priorities.
Yeah, and it was in the height of like when it was tough to find.
Yeah.
So, so we have it, and if you have it, you know how good it will be and how fun it is. But we're going to explain more of that coming soon, like right now. Angela, why don't you describe what Heat is?
All right, guys. Heat is a racing game for 1 to 6 players. Each player is going to take on the role of a race car driver, completing laps around some famous tracks in order to get first place, just like you would imagine a racing game would be.
Yeah, first place. Mm-hmm.
Might seem easy, but players are going to have to manage their speed, especially around those curves. Otherwise, they're going to spin out, and things will go downhill from there. And they have to watch how much heat their car is taking on before it's too late and things crumble.
Hence the name of the game.
Yes.
It's a very cool mechanic, which we'll explain.
Yeah. So let's break it down. Ease of setup and teardown.
Yeah, this one's really great. And just we'll preface this whole conversation in saying like we are describing the basic game. There are other options to expand your game that come in the box, but for everything until we say so is the basic setup.
Correct.
It's very easy. You pick a map, you pass out cards, and you put your cars on the track.
Yeah.
That's literally all you have to do.
Yeah, I like that there's not like a slew of components everywhere.
No.
The board game is quite a bit of space, table space, but I like that there's not like miniature cards here and meeples here and like
trees.
Yeah. And there's a time and a place for that, but this is a game that really is efficient.
Yeah, maybe like in Dune, the other 4-letter word game.
The other 4-letter word.
Sorry, leader games.
So, yeah, I think it's pretty easy. Should we talk about the components?
Well, I was just going to say that because it is easy and they help us, there's an insert that has a ton of dividers.
Right.
So like there is a very card heavy game, and so there are various types of cards, and there are spaces for all of them in the box.
Right.
So if you want to put all the player cards together, separated by color, there's spots for that. There's campaign cards. There's heat cards. I can't think of the word. The boost cards.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you can separate all that in the box, and makes it just that much easier on both ends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it really doesn't need extra storage.
No.
It's got the storage you need, which is a huge bonus.
Yes.
The components, I really like the little cars it comes with.
The cars are cool, and they're like retro racers, you know? Like they're from, I want to say like the 40s maybe, or 50s. Like they don't look like modern stock cars or Indy cars. They're old school. So
I like that. I think everything is really good quality. In the as far as the board itself and the player boards, and so I feel like it does a good job at like maximizing the game you get for the least amount of components.
Yeah, totally. I like it. It's very bright, the colors of the cars. Pop, the maps are all interesting. There's 4 maps in the game, and they're double-sided. Like they're like 6-panel board game boards, and so they're pretty big, and they have different curves and speeds and stuff like that. One thing when I first got the game, I remember thinking, man, they missed an opportunity. These cars don't roll. I was like, I want wheels on these cars because it's a race car game,
right?
But then the more I thought about it, I was like, you can't.
That would be really hard.
Because you just bump the table and the cars would roll away.
Absolutely.
And I was like, that is such a... I was like, Christian, you're an idiot for thinking that you would want to play with real cars. But like that's
a real car.
But that's the first thing I did when I got the car out. I was like, oh, this is so cool. It's like a micro machine. Let's roll it
it doesn't roll.
And it didn't work. And I was like, oh man, I wish it would roll.
Yeah.
But now I'm going to get my micro machines out from when I was a kid and then just use those.
Ooh.
Could be fancy.
There you go. Fancy. And also nobody touch anything that's not.
No one bumped the board.
No one bumped the board.
So they go flying. I would say the cards they're standard cards. If you are going to play this a lot, you'll probably sleeve them.
We didn't, but we have very strange sleeving habits. We
sleeve 1 or 2 games,
right? And then sometimes we sleeve if we know that they're you got special sleeves for Oath.
Yeah,
or
I mean that's
Great Wall.
Yeah, but that came with the bundle.
Yes.
Yeah.
But basically, we only sleeve Marvel Champions. So that's just the way we roll.
Yeah.
That might not be the way you roll.
No.
Okay, so how accessible is learning to play, especially for maybe a non-board gamer?
Yeah, I think Heat is a good game to bring to non-board gamers.
I agree.
Because the goal is to win, like all games. But everyone understands a race car race. It's just coming first.
Everybody understands, I want to get first place, so that means getting around the track fastest.
Yep. I think your first lap in this game is the hardest, the first time you learn. Because the mechanics they're funky when you first start.
Yeah, there's a few little...
You just don't understand what is actually heat, what is cooldown, when can I spend it. So the mechanic is you are going to play a certain number of cards from your hand depending on what gear your car is in. And you can choose that at the beginning of... Everyone chooses it at the same time. Mm-hmm. Now you can go to a higher gear by paying heat, and what heat is, it's kind of it's like a deck builder. So think of that if you've played Clank or Dominion, and there's those cards that just do nothing. Right. They just mess up your hand so that you can't draw good cards. That's what heat is.
Yep. And also it'll impact your susceptibility to spinning out when you go around curves.
Yeah.
So if you go over the speed.
Sure.
So heat is not good.
No, you don't want it in your hand.
But you have to pay heat to get your car to go faster.
Yeah, so it's a good
it's balancing.
Push and pull.
Yes. And pushing your luck, the higher your speed, the more cards you can play, and each card is numbered, and so if you can play more numbers, your speed is faster. Mm-hmm. But sometimes there's curves that have not a speed limit, but I would say a speed recommendation. And so you can go faster around them, but if you do and you have too much heat or can't pay enough heat, then you're going to spin out.
Yeah, and then you slow down and basically miss a turn.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's...
I feel like that takes maybe a little getting used to, but I think you gave it a good timeline of one lap around is usually how long it takes you to get into those funkier rules.
Yep.
And then I think you're good. I think all, unless you play house rules, all of them you go around more than once. So
yeah, there's a recommended amount.
Yes.
Yep.
So it's not like you're going to be just trying to figure out stuff as you're crossing the finish line. You're going to have time to figure it out. And especially if someone at the table can help you kind of on your first couple turns, then I think you'll get it as it goes. I don't think there's much pre-play rules requirement that you need to slog through for new players.
No, it's just understanding maybe icons. And there's a funky, there's a last place catch-up mechanic.
Yep.
There's drafting, or whatever they call
Slipstream.
it. Slipstream. Mm-hmm. You get extra, cooldown or a bonus heat if you're in last place. So there's, ways to keep the last place person in the game still, which is really nice.
Yes.
But yeah, if you're in third gear, guess how many cards you can play? You can play 3. And then you add up all the points, and that's how many spaces you go. Mm-hmm. There's also extra cards. The what did you call them? The bonus.
Yeah. Well, are you talking about adding in weather and stuff?
No,
that?
no. The card that where you you don't know what number it's going to be.
Right, you can boost it.
Boost. So you have a boost card, which just says, I am playing this card, but I don't know what number it is yet. And then you take a card off the top of your deck. Little push your luck-esque.
Yeah.
Like risky. So it's like, oh, I need 5 to get to this corner.
But I don't want to go past the corner because
so
I'm going too
I have
fast.
A 2. Yeah, so there's a little risk involved there. Those cards are fun to play, and that can be a little confusing at times too. But
right. Yeah.
All in all, I would say the first round, there's going to be a lot of questions.
Sure.
So I would say a medium, but then after that, the actual playing is an easy.
And I like that this is a very much a game where you can just learn as you play. Some games you have to know a bunch of rules before you even play because no one's going to know what to do. But
that's true.
But this one, like, people, in effect, they know what to do. They're just...
Go fast
around the track.
Except when it says not to.
Yeah, but then they just need a little help on those little mechanics that we talked about. So, I'm curious to hear what you say. Is it fun? And if so, what kind of fun is it?
Okay, so I would say... So, I don't know if I've played this as much as you have. Like, you might have a couple more plays from the weekend, or no?
No, I think you played it more than I did on the weekend.
So, I will preface this by saying I've only played the first map.
Oh, okay.
I've never played any other map.
Okay.
So, I don't know how fun those ones are.
Right.
I mean, the replayability, which we'll talk about, that is awesome with that. So, I would say it's fun. Like, I'm getting tired of the one map. I think the reason I've played this map so many times is because I've taught it to like 4 different groups.
You've played it a lot to new.
Yeah, and so I'm explaining
players.
how to do it, and I'm just like, all right, so like there's only 3 turns on this one, and that's why it's the first map. It's great.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I have a good time playing this game.
Right.
Maybe not so much after my 4th time teaching it, but we'll ignore that. And if I just sat down to a table and everyone knew how to play it, I would have fun.
Yeah. I think that it's fun. There's not... I was going to say there's not a whole lot of planning you can do in the sense that you can't... I feel like I have trouble in this game planning turns and turns ahead. But it's more a matter of like, what did I just draw? And how can I plan what I just drew to be the best it can be.
Work for you.
Because you're limited by what you draw.
Yeah, and you only have like 7 cards in your hands or something, right? Like, or is it even less than that?
Yeah. I think. Yeah, so...
We're great on rules right now.
Well, I don't remember how many cards you draw at the beginning. So I feel like it's fun I have more fun when there's larger groups.
If there are a lot of people in this game, it's awesome.
Yeah, and it's not that it doesn't scale well for 2 or 3. It's just that I tend to have, with racing games and push your luck games, I just tend to have more fun the more like voices and chit chat and trash talking there is around the table.
Totally. This can accommodate up to 6. And I think even with the expansion, maybe 8.
Right. Heavy rain.
Which is pretty cool. Like, I would love to play it at 8.
Yeah.
And it'd take a while, but it would be fun. Like you said, there'd be a ton of like boosts and slipstreams and spin outs and crashes. Like, that'd be cool.
Yes. Okay. So, how immersive is this game for you?
I think the best thing that this does is the mechanic of managing your heat. It's kind of like revving your engine and staying, like, I don't know how to drive a manual car.
Oh,
I was born in 1980s.
Yeah.
I have no idea how to do it. But if you stay in one gear for too long, your engine's going to overheat. You know what I mean? And so it's like, that's not a direct correlation to this game, but you have to switch gears in order for your car to continue
to play well,
in order to continue the speed that you want to go.
Yeah.
And so this is kind of the same thing where it's like, if there are things you want to do, if you want to go fast, you got to rev your engine, and so you're going to pay heat to do that.
Yep.
And then if you want to stop quickly, you're going to have to hit the brakes, and you know what you're going to have to do? You're going to have to pay heat to do that.
Yep.
And then you can get heat out of your hand by going into lower gears for more turns.
Right.
It's called like cooldown, or
Yep.
And so then you can discard heat and get it out of your hand and out of your deck. So that is where this game shines in terms of like immersivity.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't know how much more immersive you can get than little cars on a board. Like, it's about racing a car, and there are physical cars going around the racetrack.
Yeah.
So I think it's really immersive. I think that the art style lends itself well to what the game is. You know, it's not like deserty, like Mad Max deserty, but it's...
No, but that's just the map we continue to play.
Right.
It's like the training course in Cars 1.
Right.
It's just a big loop.
It just reminds me of any of those older, maybe not the new ones, but I'm thinking of the ones that the car racing arcade games.
Yeah, totally. Like from the top down.
Yeah, it just looks like that type of, you know, you can select your course. And,
like the Micro Machines racing game.
Oh my gosh.
There's one. I love it.
Look at you.
And there's a new one called Tiny something that's coming out. So Tiny Tracks.
Tiny Tracks.
Look it up on Steam, boys.
And girls. Okay, so I feel like, yeah, I guess there's not much more I had to add, because I was going to say that does well in the mechanics. We haven't talked about the extra things it adds. Like,
well, I think we should do that now, because that probably expands how immersive and how far into this game you could get. Mm-hmm. Because there are advanced rules. Now, we will say we haven't played them. We've read up on them, and we're going to do it next.
Yes.
The next time we get a bigger group together to play it. So there's a campaign mode.
Yeah.
So if you wanted to do a campaign mode and keep score from race to race to race and have like a season,
yeah,
you can do that. It has cards for that, and it has ways to track that. So
it's
that's
like a
cool.
championship system.
Yeah, like a champion league.
Mm-hmm.
There are ways that you could customize your car, which is not literally, but it's with the deck. Mm-hmm. So you can draft upgrades to your cars.
Like
so
better brakes.
Better brakes. You can get better tires. You can get a bigger engine.
Better body. Yeah, like body.
Yeah,
of the car.
so you can slipstream faster. You can go. So right now, I think in the base game, the fastest you can go on one card is 5.
Right.
And I think in the expansions or in the add-ons, you can go 6 or maybe even 7. With one card. It may cost heat to do that. But there are just ways that you can upgrade your car and make it more yours and based on your play style.
Yeah, and then you can have events that add in twists, weather.
Weather, yeah, that's
adds
cool.
In,
like if it's raining, like your car doesn't heat up as much, but it's also harder to do turns, which is interesting.
Right. So there's a lot, and this is not even the expansion that's out. This is all included in the base game. So it's just things that you can add to your experience once you've played through the basic rules. Mm-hmm. And we, unfortunately, or maybe fortunately, have just brought a lot of new players to this game. So we're always playing the basic rules.
I mean, that's what we do, right?
Yes.
Like we don't, yeah.
We don't want to overwhelm people with a bunch of stuff right at the beginning. It's like, let's just have a good racing game.
Yeah. And if they want to come back and play Heat, then we'll expand.
Throw in some weather.
Yeah.
So let's talk about replayability.
Well, yeah, I think it's, I wouldn't say infinitely replayable, but with all those things we just mentioned, there are 4 maps, and I haven't played on 3 of them.
Right.
You know, so like there's 3 plays right there. There's the upgrade stuff that we haven't even touched. Like I would just play basic rules on a new map next. Like that's what I would do next.
Right.
I don't need to jump into making sure my tires are full.
Yeah,
with my car.
But there's you can add in just the weather, or you can add in like the car upgrades and the weather, or you can add in
upgrades, championships, weather.
Yeah. You can play the championship system.
I think there's even like a photography, like a press option where there's like these little standees based on, and you put them on like corners or something, and like if you stop near them, you get bonus points because they can take your picture or something. Like,
right.
I don't know.
And you can have for solo or even for multiplayer, you can add in automated autocars. Autocars.
AI.
Yeah, there you go.
Have you done this one solo?
I haven't done it solo.
Okay.
So that is on my list of what to do with it next. I feel like they're just by the nature of what you're doing, you're getting cards in your deck, and so every time you draw each game, it's just going to be new.
Yeah, totally.
And the maps, of course, different. Adding to that, and the different things you can put in for the advanced rules, and then if you love it, you can go out and get the new expansion, which is called Heavy Rain, I believe.
Yeah, Heavy Rain. I'm just going to pull up some information really quick on that, and then so that people who are interested will know a little bit more about it. A
little bit more. You do need the base game.
Totally.
Just like most expansions. And, Heat is always in the hotness at BGG. It's always in, the top 50 since it's been out, I believe. Which is probably why you can't find it.
Yeah, I think they've done a bunch of reprints, and it's coming back. So, okay, so here's the official expansion rules. Not rules, but additions. So you can go up to 7 players.
Okay.
So it's just one. There's 2 new maps, so one double-sided new map.
Okay.
Looks like one of them is a figure 8, which seems insane.
And then, because of the curves.
Yeah, one of them is just this classic map with a bunch of turns. There's new upgrade cards. There's a submerged track section, which means it's probably wet. So you have to pay extra heat to shift gears here. There's just a lot more stuff going on. More cards. And another car. So if you're into this game, you probably already have it. Let's be honest. You probably are aware of this, but if you were wondering about it, there's a little bit of extra info.
Yeah, I always like to know if a game I'm interested in has expansions.
Yeah, this is one I would probably pick up eventually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think it can do all the replayability you want in the base game.
Yeah, without this. This is if you've done everything.
Yeah.
You already have this. So it's definitely cool. I'm happy they made this. And it seemed like they really pumped this one out fast, in order to get people excited about it again.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And I feel like we've maybe not. Well, do we have a lot of racing games? I feel like we do.
Well,
but
so
maybe...
the funny thing is we got 2 racing games within 3 months of each other.
Thunder Road Vendetta.
We got Thunder Road Vendetta, and then this, which came out at similar times.
And then we have Cubitos.
Way different.
Yeah.
And Cubitos is a different type of racing game.
Totally.
But if you're just thinking cars on a map,
yes.
you can compare, the Vendetta and this get the most comparison, I'd say.
Yeah, and I think they're very different.
Oh, totally.
So I think this game is worth it, especially if you have a group of 4 or more that you're going to be playing with a lot. And it's very easy to teach new people to the game. And I think that everyone has a lot of fun. So I can't really imagine someone not having a good time playing this. It's just a matter of if you're going to play it enough to make it worth it to own it.
Totally. So let's introduce a new rating system here, Ange.
Oh.
How many fuzzy dice would you give Heat?
Out of
10.
Oh. Okay. Gosh, this is hard because I have to think of what my 10 is.
No, this is just fuzzy dice.
Oh, this is just low key?
Yeah.
Okay. I would give it 6.5 fuzzy dice.
6.5 fuzzy dice?
Yeah.
How do you get a half a fuzzy dice?
Okay, I'll give it 7 fuzzy dice.
I was going to give it about a 7 as well.
Yeah. But
that's with us not playing the extra stuff, too.
That's true. And if you've listened to this podcast any amount of time, I'm more of a planner. And so I like games that I tend to like the game more if I can like plan
a couple turns.
Very strategic, which, one could argue you do have to plan and to play this well with your speed and speed up and speed down at the right times, and so that you're not herky-jerky in your car and spending all this heat. I don't know why it's not a 10 for me. It's just
what it is.
Yeah, it's just what it is.
It's just fuzzy dice.
Okay. You know me, I'm the teacher. I'm like, 70% is a C, so I feel like I need to explain.
C's get degrees. That's what they say. That's what Christian lived by.
Okay, well, we'll be right back to talk about the collegiate...
And my GPA.
Yeah, and your GPA.
Thanks everybody thank you for our conversation on Heat Pedal to the Metal. We appreciate everything that you contributed and brought to the conversation.
Thanks to those callers that called in.
No, just thanks for hanging in there and going along for the ride.
The drive.
Yeah. Is this okay? So to circle back, is Heat a good game to bring on our trip?
I don't think so.
No? Too much going on?
Well, it's hard because I do like playing it with more people, but it's a big box.
I was thinking, like, no matter what we bring, like, I would bring just the necessities.
Like, you wouldn't bring the box.
No, I would, like, like, if there's a board, I would put it in... I don't know. Like, the only thing I can think of is, like, a Tupperware, but that's so stupid. Like, there's no Tupperware.
Well, there's huge, like
flat Tupperware, like
zip closure bags, like
something like that.
Yeah.
I think what we have to lean into is like card games, or maybe like more like, I don't want to say Cards Against Humanity style games, but more
party games,
partyish games, which we just did get 2 Rooms in a Boom, which
true.
could be good. We'll
true.
see. Anyway, so Heat, we enjoy that game, and we wanted to talk about some more board game adjacent stuff in regards to that.
Oh, wow, how vague. So Christian and I were talking about having Thunder Road Vendetta.
Yes.
And we have Heat. And we got them at around the same time.
We got them in the winter.
Yes.
And we're going to talk about weather again right now. Winter in Arizona is 3 days long. So we got them in the span of 3 days.
Okay. So it kind of brought up this conversation of like saturation in your collection. So... it can be different. It can be like, if you have one car game, do you need another car racing game? If you have one Wingspan game, do you need
Dragon Span?
Do you need Dragon Span game? And you could kind of extrapolate this to many different things. And I realize that my mind is very divided about this. Like, I don't have a very black and white opinion about
Really?
this.
I thought for sure you'd be like, no, you only need one.
Yeah, that's what I thought I would be like.
But you're on the other side?
No, I think I feel that way about some games, but other games I don't.
Okay.
So how do you feel?
I would say if you would have asked me this like 5 years ago, I'd have been like, just buy it.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Right.
They're so different.
Right.
And then now with just what I've been feeling about it, I'm just like, yeah, you don't need more than one.
Right.
now to the direct comparison that we're making is Vendetta versus Heat. They are so different, right? So they don't even play the same. The goals are different, other than win, be the first to the end.
Right.
But like with Vendetta, it's like an arcade game. Just think Mad Max. You're shooting rockets and missiles and lasers at your opponents. And you're trying to get them to smash into walls and blow up cars.
Yes.
It's like Spy Hunter, if you ever played that one in the old arcade games. So it's like they're so different. I'm happy we have both of them.
Okay, you are.
Because they're just so different. But like I don't know if we need both of them. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I kind of feel the same way. Like, I do realize that they have differences. But I feel like with Heat and Thunder Road Vendetta, the premise is too similar for me for us to have both.
Okay.
In the sense that, not that one's bad and one's good, but more just like they're going to scratch the same itch.
Yeah, maybe.
But maybe that's just me. Here's a question for you on saturation. Is one Star Wars game any Star Wars game? Or can you, like, because you will buy all the Star Wars games.
That's not true. There's one called Bounty Hunter that's out that I haven't bought.
Okay. Do you want to buy it?
No, it's too simple.
Okay.
If they're different enough, I will get that. I don't have X-Wing. I never got into that. That was
true.
like super popular when we first started. Everyone was playing that game, and I had it. I tried it, and it just didn't click. It was too wargamey or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
I love the ships. Like, if I had all the ships on my shelf right here, like displayed, that'd be cool. I would enjoy that. Mm-hmm. But I don't. I don't have Armada.
Yeah.
Same thing. Like, if I had the ships, it'd be super cool. Like,
right.
I would love it. But it's just a game I just never got into.
Yeah.
So, like, if they're different enough, I'm down.
Okay.
Because I think all the ones we have are very different.
Yeah, I think that. No, that is true. I do feel a little bit like, I know that they're different, and I know you can point out how different they are, but I do feel like Star Wars Unlimited and the Star Wars deck builder game, just, for me, they're the same itch.
Yeah, I can see that
Yeah.
for sure.
Even though I know they're mechanically different, I wouldn't.
Those might be too yeah. I can see that.
But I know why you need them both.
I need to play Unlimited a lot more.
Yes. Yeah, I feel I don't have any desire to buy Wormspan.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I know people online have been saying it's different.
Yeah, some say it's better.
I'm like, no,
we're good with birds.
I'm good with birds.
Yeah.
I don't know, and maybe that's just me being like, I don't want to change.
Here's one that we took care of in our collection. Mansions of Madness. And then Journeys in Middle-earth.
Yeah.
Very similar. I would argue that they're the same game.
Pretty
just
much.
with a different theme.
Yeah.
Right? And we had both of them for a long time.
Yeah.
And the thing that didn't work for us for Journeys is that there was no way to really just do like one scenario. I just wanted to play an adventure. It's like, oh, you're lost in the woods, get out.
Yeah.
If it would have had that, would have been my 10 fuzzy dice. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, but it was like, no, you have to go through this journey. I get it. There's an end to it all. But with Mansions, you just pick your scenario. You want to be lost in a spooky train? Go do that. You want to go
spooky train.
You want to be lost in the crazy town with the mob that goes, like, that one's awesome.
Right.
But there's nothing there wasn't enough of that in Lord of the Rings to make it unique in that way.
Yeah.
So we're just like, Lord of the Rings, bye.
Yeah. I feel this way about pirate games. I'm kind of just like,
there's a big flood of pirate games for a minute.
I'm like, one pirate game is enough.
Do we have a pirate game?
Yeah, we have Ahoy.
And Libertalia.
And Libertalia.
And Tiny Epic Pirates.
Stop it.
I've never played it, but we have it.
Okay. Well, we need to make our collection match what we're thinking. Because it doesn't. So I'm sure that you have an opinion. Maybe your opinion doesn't match what is actually happening in your collection like us. So
do we have any others? Like, just really quick, I'm just trying to think. Like, similar games where we're like, oh, these are so similar. Or maybe we have one that is similar but better, and so we don't play the older one.
I mean, yeah, we have The Search for Planet X and The Lost Species. Yeah. So that is...
It's the same game.
It's the same game.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, you could argue differently, but...
Which one do you prefer?
Planet X.
Because it was the first, or it's just...
No,
it's
I think...
you with, like, space, and the exploration's better?
Yeah. I think I like that better.
I agree.
And then, I mean, I know we have other games that scratch the same itch. I just have trouble, like, thinking of them off the top of my head. So we would love to know how you feel about this. If you have games in your collection that are like, oh, hey, I just realized I never play this one because this game is a better version of.
Yeah, I'm more interested in that question. That's
Yeah. So I would be very interested in what people have out there.
Okay.
All right, guys, here we go.
Let's go.
Ending the episode. What do we always do, Christian?
What is bringing you joy outside of board games?
Do you want to go first?
Sure. I mentioned it earlier. We've been watching the Fallout series on Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
That was pretty good. It was a wild ride. I just felt bad for her. She just kept on getting worse and worse situations. And then it ended and she's still in a bad situation. And that's the wasteland.
Spoilers.
Well, whatever. It's just that, if you played the game, it's like you're not coming out on top of any of this. So.
Right. The world is just...
Has anybody played the Fallout board game? I know we had it for a while. It just didn't click at the time. And it was not made very well. Like, I remember the reviews were poor. And then they came out with an expansion that fixed it, maybe. But let us know about that. So we've been watching Fallout. I have been enjoying series lately. Like, we did the Shogun and we did Fallout.
Yep.
So, looking for something new. We just started... we literally just checked out, what was it?
The first episode, Masters
of the Air. So, yeah, I would say that. How about you?
Bicycle shorts.
Bicycle shorts. Okay.
I'm bringing back the 90s.
You said that before.
I have?
Yeah,
Oh my gosh, guys, I am so sorry.
No, it's fine if you're just loving it.
I'm loving them. I feel like this is the uniform.
Is it?
It's the mom uniform.
For millennials? Millennial moms?
Am I a millennial?
Yeah.
Okay. What's the Gen X cutoff?
Cutoff?
79?
No, X is after. No, before.
Before.
Yeah, it's like 78 or something.
Okay.
Or 80.
Yeah, I'm a millennial.
Dang it.
So, yeah, I've got my bike shorts.
Uh-huh.
I'm rocking them.
Okay. You riding bikes, too?
I don't really ride the bikes, no.
Okay.
I have been inline skating.
Let's define that a little bit because I am in the same category. I had the great idea, and if I've told this story before, I apologize. I had the great idea of buying everybody rollerblades for Christmas. It is a good idea. And I was like, oh, this would be great. I skated every day from age 9 to age 13 or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And then I tried it, and I did okay for the first couple weeks, like during Christmas time. And then we did it again like 2 weeks ago, and I almost died. Like, not because I fell and hurt something, but I just couldn't do it.
You did fall.
I did. Yeah.
I
didn't hit my head, but I still don't remember falling.
Yeah, you did fall. And it was right in front of the neighbors.
Oh, the neighbor was like, you all right?
And the neighbor was like, this is a dangerous idea.
Did he say that?
Yeah. So
it's like that big fat guy on rollerblades is going to die.
Listen, we just didn't realize that it's not like learning a bike. It doesn't come back to you.
Not as quickly.
You just look like
a clown
out there.
Yeah, like one of those inflatable, wacky.
Okay. Sorry, tangent. So, yeah, that's what is bringing us joy.
Okay.
Bike shorts, but not the bike.
All right. You want to share what you're reading?
Did you want to ask me?
I did. Do you want to share? Hey, Ange, what you reading?
Hey, Ange, what you reading? Yeah, I'm reading the physical copy of the Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime. I think it's what it's called.
You just make that up?
No, the Curious
Case of Benjamin Dog Buttons?
No. Oh my gosh, people know what I'm talking about, and they're shaking their head at you, Christian. The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime, I think is what it's called.
Okay.
And it's very good. And then I am listening to a book called The Whispers.
Ooh, Susurrus.
Yes.
Nice. Is it spooky?
It is not spooky.
Have you ever read a spooky book?
Yeah.
Do you actually get scared?
No.
Like, not at all?
Well, the one I read was more like H.P. Lovecraft scary. Oh. So that doesn't...
But if you read like a Stephen King book, do you think you get scared?
No, because I need the visual to be scared. Like, my mind will make up a visual, obviously. When you read, that's what happens. Mm-hmm. But what really scares me is seeing it. So I read like oh my gosh, what's it called? The Cabin in the Wood.
Oh yeah, that's what it's called.
Is that what it's called? Okay.
Or Knock on the Cabin.
Yeah. And then I read Bird Box.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh.
So those are all very intense. I read Mexican Gothic. That's the one that's more like H.P. Lovecraft.
Okay.
Like, and it doesn't scare me in that I can't like fall asleep at night.
Okay. I just haven't read a book like that, so I was just wondering. I don't like scary movies at all.
No, me neither.
So like if The Strangers, which is the worst movie I've ever seen in my life,
seriously,
was a book, I'm wondering if I would like get scared or like nervous reading it.
No, I don't think so. I think it's just hits different with when it's your ears listening and your
eyes seeing.
Yeah.
What do my eyes tell me?
Yes. There's a Christmas song about this.
What?
Do you see it?
That's true. That's true. All right, thanks everybody for hanging in there as we talked about Heat and similar games and vacation games. Definitely let us know what games you think we should bring on vacation or what ones you have brought that have been successful with your family or in a group. Maybe you went on a work retreat and you played some games. Definitely let us know. We'll be there for, I think it's like 2 nights, 3 nights. So we have some time. There'll probably be some free time to play some games in the evening. Mm-hmm. Because this resort, for some reason, closes the pool. Well, I don't know why you would do that.
Why would you do that?
Why would you close the pool?
I don't know. Yes, let us know your thoughts, your opinions, your
deepest, darkest secrets.
Absolutely.
We will keep those as well.
Yes. And until next time.
See ya.
Bye. Thanks for listening to this episode of the Married and Bored podcast. And guess what? We have a website where you can listen to podcast episodes and so much more. Find us at marriedandbored.com, or you can email us at hello@marriedandbored.com, or follow us on Instagram at marriedandbored. Music in this episode is by Joseph McDade. See you next time.